September 26, 2025. The world's eyes were on the United Nations General Assembly in New York. Leaders delivered their usual speeches, until the German chancellor broke from her script. She paused, looked at the delegates, and spoke of a young diplomat she'd met. She described his courage, not in politics but in the simple act of communication. The hall fell silent. This wasn't about treaties or trade, it was about something deeply personal. The chancellor told a story of a people whose English was often called broken. But she didn't use the term as criticism. She challenged the very idea of what it means to be correct, in a world of countless voices and accents. She spoke of the bravery it takes to build bridges in a language not your own. She described a people who made English their own, infusing it with their rhythm and spirit. For Filipinos watching around the world, time seemed to stand still. They heard their story told with respect, not pity. The chancellor didn't name the country, but they knew it was their story, finally validated on the world stage. In that moment, the world was learning a lesson in empathy it had long ignored. For generations, Filipinos have lived with the label broken English. It was a casual insult, a quiet judgment, a punchline in comedy sketches. The pressure to sound foreign created a hierarchy. Those with better English were seen as smarter, more successful. This shame became a heavy burden. The call center agent practicing her accent, the engineer staying silent in meetings, the mother afraid to speak at school. The fear of being judged was constant. Yet, the Philippines is a nation where English is often a second, third, or even fourth language. Millions use it daily to connect, provide, and learn. To call their English broken misses the point. In their hands, English is a tool of resilience, a testament to adaptability and the desire to connect. Their English is not broken, it's a bridge. In a public school in Quezon City, there was a teacher named Roberto. He didn't care for perfect grammar or flawless accents. For him, English was a bridge, a way for his students to share their stories with the world. He saw the fear in his students' eyes, the shame of being called broken. Roberto made it his mission to dismantle that fear. Your goal isn't to sound American, he'd say. Your goal is to be understood, to be brave. He celebrated effort, not perfection, and made his classroom a sanctuary. He shared his own struggles with language, showing it was okay to be imperfect. He encouraged students to use the English they had, to mix it with Tagalog, to use gestures, whatever it took to connect. Communication is a dance, not a drill, he'd say. Keep dancing. Roberto believed Filipino English wasn't broken. It was a living dialect, shaped by Filipino spirit. Every time you speak English, he told them, you're building a bridge. Never let anyone tell you your bridge is broken. His philosophy was simple, but revolutionary. Roberto's classroom walls were covered with maps and photos, not grammar charts. One day, he assigned his students to write a letter to a fictional pen pal, describing their favorite Filipino food. The students hesitated, afraid their English would sound silly. Maria, her voice trembling, asked, "What if they laugh at our food? What if my English is too bad?" Roberto knelt beside her. Your English is honest. Honesty is never shameful. Courage makes it beautiful. He shared a story of getting lost in Japan using broken Japanese and being helped by a kind stranger. She didn't hear my broken words, she saw my effort. That's the heart of communication. The mood shifted. The students wrote, describing Sinigang as happy sour soup, and Halo Halo as a colorful mountain of sweet surprises. They stopped worrying about perfect sentences and poured their hearts onto the page. They weren't just translating words, they were sharing feelings and culture. Their English became a bridge, just as Roberto had taught. The classroom became a workshop for courage. Their fear turned into pride. Among Roberto's students was Carlo, a quiet boy who absorbed every lesson. He carried Roberto's words through high school, university, and into the diplomatic service. In Europe, surrounded by polished speakers, Carlo felt the sting of insecurity. He hesitated in meetings, haunted by the broken English label. A senior diplomat once joked about his accent, and the laughter stung. Carlo felt like an imposter, tempted to retreat. But he remembered Roberto's lesson. Never let anyone tell you your bridge is broken. Carlo decided to stop hiding his identity. He embraced his accent, focusing on clarity and sincerity. His English became a reflection of his journey. not a weakness. He spoke with new confidence, valuing message over perfection. His unique way of speaking became his strength. Carlo was building bridges, just as Roberto had taught. Carlo's confidence grew. He spoke more in committees, using Filipino analogies to explain complex points. His warmth and authenticity stood out in the world of diplomacy. Colleagues listened, not to his accent, but to his substance. On a global education initiative, Carlo worked closely with a senior advisor to the German chancellor. She was impressed by his dedication and his ability to make issues relatable. One night, she asked about his journey. Carlo shared his struggles with English and the teacher who changed his life. He explained Roberto's philosophy. Communication is about courage, not perfection. The advisor saw in Carlo's story a powerful metaphor for the United Nations mission building bridges, valuing effort over perfection. She knew the chancellor needed to hear this story. On that historic day, the German chancellor stood at the UN podium. After discussing education, she paused. The true foundation of cooperation is empathy, the courage to understand one another. She told the story of a young diplomat and his teacher. He was taught to be ashamed of his English. It was called broken. But what is truly broken? The English of someone reaching out, or our understanding of language? The room fell silent. She challenged the world's linguistic prejudice. His teacher taught him that his English was not broken, but brave. Every sentence a bridge built with courage. Should we value only those who sound a certain way, or the effort and intention to connect? She spoke of Filipino English as a living example of global interconnectedness. Let us celebrate what some have called broken, for what is broken lets the light in. What is broken can be remade into something beautiful. Let us honor the bridge builders, the millions who enrich our global conversation every day. The hall erupted in applause. The world was listening. The reaction in the Philippines was immediate and overwhelming. Social media exploded. #Filipino English and #Broken is Brave trended worldwide. Videos of the speech were shared millions of times. People posted their own stories of being shamed for their accent or grammar. In call centers, agents wept and hugged, seeing their daily struggles in a new light. In hospitals abroad, nurses felt seen and validated. Roberto, now retired, watched the speech on TV, tears streaming down his face. His former students called him voices thick with emotion. His simple belief, nurtured in a small classroom, had reached the world stage. The speech sparked a national conversation. Educators began rethinking how English was taught, focusing on confidence, not mimicry. Comedians faced criticism for mocking accents. Filipinos began to see their English as a unique and valid part of their identity. The story of Filipino English is one of resilience. It's a language transformed from a colonial legacy into a tool of connection. For years, the world saw only flaws, missing the creativity and power within. What was once shame is now pride. Filipino English is a living language, echoing Spanish, Tagalog, Cebuano, and the warmth of the Filipino heart. Unique idioms and grammar are not mistakes, they're features of a rich dialect. The world is beginning to understand what Roberto always knew. The true measure of language is its power to connect, not its conformity to a standard. By that measure, Filipino English is among the world's most successful languages. Spoken with courage by millions, it enriches the global community. The journey from shame to pride isn't over, but a major battle has been won. What was called broken is now celebrated as brave and beautiful. For Filipinos everywhere, your English is not broken, it is more than enough.